Hi all, welcome back to Azure Content YouTube channel. This is part 4 in SQL Real-Time Scenarios playlist. In this video, we are going to learn how to identify those customers who have never made a transaction. So let's see the use case in details. So we have two tables. One is customers table and other one is transactions table, and you can see the data for both the tables. This is the customer table data where we have customer ID and customer name column. Okay, so these are the customer IDs starting from 101 till 110, which means there are 10 entries in the customer table. Okay, and these are the customer names for each of the corresponding customer IDs. And if you see the transaction tables, these are the transactions performed by the customers present in customers table. So in transaction table, we have an entry if the customer has done some transaction. So if you see 101 customer ID, which is Alice, Alice has done a transaction on 10th February 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Okay, similarly 102, which is customer ID for Bob, has performed transaction on 11th February. So similarly, these are the transactions by all the customers. But if you notice, there is no entry for the customer ID 103 in transactions table. So it means that Charlie has never performed or never made a transaction. That's why there is no entry for the customer Charlie. So basically, there are some customers who have never made a transaction, and in this video we want to identify those customers who have never done a transaction and thereby their records are not present in the transaction table. And if you notice, such customers are 103, and then if you see 104 has an entry, actually 104 has entry twice, okay, at transaction ID 4 and transaction ID 10. So it means that 104 customer, which is David, has done transaction twice. So there are customers who have done transactions multiple times and there are customers who have never done a transaction, right? And then 107 has also not done a transaction because that entry is not there in the transactions table. And similarly, 110 has not done any transaction. That's why 110 is not there in the transactions table. So basically, there are three customers who have never done a transaction. First one is Charlie, then 107 Grace, and then 110 that is Jack. So these three customers we want in the output. So we want to identify the customer's name who have never made a transaction. So let's go to SSMS and start writing a SQL query for the same. Okay. So let me go to SSMS and now let's see the data in customers table first and also in transactions table. Transactions. Okay, so this is the same data that is present in the PPT. So we have 10 customers and these are the customer IDs and these are the customer names for the same. And this is the transaction table where the transaction related details are there for each of the customers. Okay. Now we want to get all the customer names whose entry is not there in the transaction table, but those customers are present in the customers table. Okay, so first of all, we need to get the list of all the customer IDs present in the transactions table, and then we will check what are the customer IDs which are missing from the customer tables in the transaction tables. Okay, so first of all, we need to get all the customer IDs present in transactions table. So for that, what we will do is, if we write select customer IDs, customer underscore ID from transactions table. Okay, then let me run these two queries. Okay, so you can see there are 8 records in transaction table, and this query is basically returning the customer ID column from the same transaction table. Now, if you notice, 104 has duplicate entries because this customer has done transaction twice. Okay, but we want the distinct list of customer IDs from transaction table. Okay, which means we need the unique value of customer ID. We don't want the repeated value. So for that, instead of 8 records, we want 7 records. We want to eliminate the duplicate. So for that, we will just use distinct keyword here. Okay, so now if I run this, you can see there are 7 records now. Okay, and these are the records. We don't have duplicate for 104 now. Okay, so now we got the distinct list of all the customer IDs present in the transactions table, And now we want to find out all the customers who have never done a transaction, which means those customers are present in the customers table, but it's not present in the list of transactions table. So, so now what we will do is we want to exclude the list of customer IDs present in the transaction table, and we want to get all the customer IDs or customer names which are present in the customer tables but not present in the list of transactions table. So for that we will write query like select customer underscore name from customers table. Okay, select customer underscore name from customer table. Now we will use a filter using where clause where customer ID customer underscore ID is not in the output of this list. So for that we will use bracket to make it a subquery. So if we run the whole query now, it will eliminate all the customers who are present in the transactions table because we have applied not in clause. So it will do a filter using where clause and it will fetch all the customer names where customer ID is not present in the transactions table. So now let me execute it, and now you can see we got all the customer name where their customer ID is not present in the transactions table. So we have successfully got the list of the customers who have not made any transactions, and we have done this by using not in operator. So this is the expected result. If we compare with the PPT, we got the name as Charlie, Grace and Jack, and that is what is coming in the output. So we achieved the list of all the customers who have never done a transaction by using not in clause or not in operator, where it is trying to filter out and exclude all the customers who are present in the customers table but not present in the transactions table. So this is one way of achieving the things. There is another way as well to get the list of all the customers or all the output which is present in one table but not present in other table. We will talk about it in the next video. So please stay tuned. I hope you learned something in this video. Please hit on like button and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you. Please stay tuned.